Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's start our video with a story about a college freshman who trusted his roommates a little too much until they started treating his stuff like their own, breaking his things, and ignoring his request to lock the door. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with a turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Won't lock the door to the room. Enjoy having it empty. So this was 7 years ago during my freshman year in college. I'd worked hard in high school to save up enough cash to buy 2 TVs, a PS4, speakers, kitchen utensils and plates, a futon, and a few other smaller items. The college I went to had suite-style living where each roommate got his own individual room. There were 4 of us, so we had 4 rooms, 2 bathrooms, a small kitchen, and a great room/main room. Since I was the first one who moved in, I got unpacked and settled in, making sure to leave plenty of room for whoever to unpack and claim space in the bathrooms and other common areas. I set up 1 TV, the larger one, in the great room with my PS4 so we could all enjoy it, and I put all my utensils and plates in the kitchen so we could use those as well. I didn't mind sharing my stuff up to this point since I'd like to share and put my faith in others. However, I wouldn't be posting here if this trusting nature of mine wasn't changed. On to the story. One night, a drunk college kid came barging into our room screaming to the top of his lungs, waking me up. I was about to get out of bed until one roommate, the slob of the group, ran out and kicked him to the hallway. Since I left a lot of expensive items in the great room for us to use, this made me fear anyone could walk in and steal my stuff, and that would be the last I would have seen of them. So I asked my roommates to lock the door if no one else was home, and we agreed on it. It worked for a few days until I noticed I walked in and no one was home, but the door wasn't locked. Granted, they would go to a few friends' dorms across the hall, but they'd gone out for almost 5 hours. I asked them again, but they blew me off. A 1-to-3 vote doesn't work too well at the college I attended as far as roommate agreements went, so there was nothing I could do. Anyway, there were 3 more instances of dumb young freshmen walking into our dorm and either yelling or passing out on our couch with just the TV on and nothing on it. The straw that broke the camel's back was when I noticed my dishes I was sharing were in the trash along with some stainless steel utensils. As I looked around, I also saw one of the 4 controllers I had was smashed and under the couch, and my remote was totally lost. Never knew what happened to it after all these years. I finally asked them once more to lock the door and try to respect my things I shared with them, but they blew me off and said, "It's not like you use them, it's basically ours anyway." With this, I got petty. And I mean petty. I started my revenge when they went off to get beer since they wanted to play a new Call of Duty game. Can't remember which title. I first started with moving my TV and PS4 into my room, along with everything else I had out there, as well as my futon, which we used as a second couch. It took me about 30 minutes of hard labor, but I finally had a packed dorm room. But man, it looked awesome. But that's my petty part. Time for revenge. After another 20 minutes, they returned with a whole group, and they were stoked to play the new COD until they noticed the entire great room empty, save for the couch and TV stand. I decided to leave before they got back, but I was receiving calls and texts for almost an hour asking where I was and where all the stuff went. I decided to keep quiet and allow them to embarrass themselves in front of their friends. Not only that, but they confronted me on a few occasions to get me to surrender my items or else they'd have to pay for new ones out of pocket. None of them worked and sponged off all the snacks I bought for myself, which were now safe under my bed. I merely said, "Oh, sorry, but they're now locked behind my room, since that's the only door that's locked in this whole place. I told you I won't share if it isn't behind a locked room." But now it is. They were very unhappy and spent way more than I did on items since I got to go back to school sales and work discounts on all my items. I probably paid nearly $1,400 on everything I bought, and they paid nearly $2,100 to get back everything I'd shared, and they had to split it all up at the end of the school year. I know one thing for certain, it's fun to see 3 guys fight over a PS4 and large TV since they all chipped in to pay for them. Should have played dumb for a bit and pretended this stuff was stolen. Maybe that would have made them think twice about their locks or optional opinions. Screw sharing with people that can't show you the barest amount of respect. And our second story. Customer threatened my job over ladder rule. A few days ago, a middle-aged man climbed up one of the staff's ladders to grab an item from the top shelf. We don't allow customers to climb up on ladders due to safety reasons. I saw him move the ladder as I thought he was just moving it out of the way so he could look at the other items, which he did. Then a minute later, he climbed up the ladder to try and grab an item. I was in the middle of serving of a customer when I noticed. I quickly finished the customer's transaction, then I walked up to him and told him politely, "I'm sorry, sir, but I'm afraid customers aren't allowed to climb up on the ladders." He gets annoyed and says, "You saw me move the ladder and didn't say anything. Now you want to say something?" I say to him, "I understand, but I thought you were just moving the ladder out of your way to have a look at the items the ladder was blocking." He then says to me condescendingly, "Are you really arguing with me right now?" Me, "No, sir. I'm just trying to tell you that customers aren't allowed to climb up on the ladders because of safety reasons, and because the ladder also does have staff only marked on it." Customer, "Keep arguing with me and I'll have your career ended." I look at him surprisingly while he and his daughter carried on about how I shouldn't be arguing with the customer. I went back to the checkout to serve a customer. His daughter waits in the line. She comes up, throws all her items at me with immense attitude, wouldn't respond or look at me when I asked if she was paying with card or cash. I gave her a receipt and she snatched it off me, then says, "You're lucky he didn't complain." I was already having a rough day because of Black Friday sales and whining customer after whining customer. I told her to go ahead and complain. She looks at me in total surprise and paused for 5 seconds. She then asks for my name and last name. I gave her my first name. She then asked for my last name. Me, "Sorry, I can't give you that information." Daughter, "No worries, I'll just describe you to head office. Blonde and brown hair with a tattoo. I'll be filing a complaint about you." Me, "Lovely. Have a nice day." She stormed out, cussing and carrying on. I didn't mean to respond, but honestly, I had just had enough that day. I know it's not much of a response, but some part of me still remembers the line not to cross. Edit. LOL, y'all. If I had said, "Yes, I'm arguing with you," he would have become even more aggressive than he already was and would have never left. I wasn't demanding him or ordering him to get off the ladder. If he fell down and had an accident, that would make all the employees close by liable for not saying anything and allowing him to climb up that ladder. What a jerk. And his daughter, too. Customers can be the worst. And our last story. I'm the owner and you're banned. When I was 20, I inherited my grandfather's sports bar and catering venue, a beloved local spot with a bar, restaurant, and sports facilities. I was young but eager to learn and keep my grandfather's legacy alive. The business had a loyal customer base, and I wanted to make sure it continued to thrive. One Monday, I decided to get hands-on with the operations. Dressed in a simple staff polo shirt, I arrived early to meet the team. Barry, the bar manager, gave me a thorough rundown of how things worked behind the counter. "Just so you know," he said with a chuckle, "we do get a few challenging regulars, but we handle it." Next, I went into the kitchen to meet Claire, the head chef, who was equally welcoming. She showed me around the food prep area, the ovens, and the dishwashing section, explaining the team's workflow. "Feel free to jump in when it gets busy," she offered. After familiarizing myself with the place, I started helping at the bar. The first couple of hours went smoothly, with the staff and customers enjoying a regular day. That changed when a woman who I later learned was named Karen walked in. She seemed slightly intoxicated already, red cheeks, a bit unsteady, and clearly not in the best mood. She approached the bar and impatiently tapped on the counter. I turned to her with a friendly smile. "Hi, welcome. What can I get for you today?" Karen huffed. "Finally, I'll have a pint of lager and a double shot of rum." I paused, remembering our policy not to serve anyone who appeared intoxicated. "I'm really sorry, but it looks like you've already had a few drinks. I can't serve you any more alcohol today." Her eyes widened in disbelief. "Excuse me? I've been coming here for years. The owner never gave me a problem about this." "I understand," I replied calmly, "but I'm afraid those are the rules. We want to make sure everyone stays safe." Karen's face contorted with anger. Rules? I don't care about your stupid rules. I know the family that owns this place. You're new, aren't you? Maybe I should call the owner and tell him how you're treating his customers. I tried to stay polite. I assure you the policy comes directly from the top. We're just trying to... Before I could finish, Barry came back from his break and sensed the tension. Is everything okay here, he asked, stepping in. Karen didn't waste a second. No, it's not okay. This kid's refusing to serve me. I've been a loyal customer for years, and this is how I'm treated. I demand to speak with the owner. Barry glanced at me. A knowing smile played on his lips. Well, Karen, you're in luck, he said, barely hiding his amusement. You're actually talking to the owner right now. Karen's eyes widened, her face shifting from shock to pure fury. What? You? She spat, looking me up and down with disdain. You're the owner and you won't serve me? I've supported this place for years. I know how things are run here, and you're ruining it. I kept my voice steady, trying to defuse the situation. I appreciate your loyalty, but I have to stick to our policies. It's a matter of safety for everyone. At that moment, something seemed to snap. Without warning, Karen leaned across the bar and swung at me, landing a surprisingly hard slap across my face. I stumbled back, feeling a sting in my cheek as shocked gasps rippled through the bar. One of the other customers immediately pulled out their phone and called the police. Within minutes, officers arrived, separating us and listening to both sides of the story. Karen insisted I had insulted and refused her, trying to paint herself as the victim. But Barry and several regulars backed me up, giving a clear account of what had actually happened. After hearing everything, the officers turned to me. You want to press charges? Yes, I said firmly, and I'd like to formally ban her from the establishment. The officers nodded and took Karen out in handcuffs, her angry shouts echoing as she was led outside. After things calmed down, I turned to the customer who'd called the police and offered them and their friends a round on the house, grateful for their support. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.